Hello, everybody. If you are watching this, that means that you followed the link on Schoology and made it here. So nice job. If you have any friends who are confused and they're wondering why there isn't a meeting today, then let them know that they need to pay better attention to the day before and that they should go and check out the link that you just followed to get here. So thank you for being here. Today, of course, we are asynchronous. I am recording this well, I'm recording it on Tuesday. You are probably watching it on Wednesday, but maybe you waited and you're working on this over the weekend or something like that because you had something else to do during Wednesday. But hopefully you're looking at this sometime over the weekend of MEA, hopefully on Wednesday, so you can get this done and not have anything to worry about the weekend. The topic of the day, we're going to take a look at conditional statements. We're going to come back and take a look at patterns a little bit more next week. But this is a good topic for us to do today. It's just a quick introduction to this thing called conditional statements, the word that you see on the screen right now. And in red, I have a conditional statement. If you understand this topic, then you will do well on our next test. This I believe to be a true statement, and it is this thing called a conditional statement. So what is a conditional statement? A conditional statement is a logical statement that can be written in if something, then something else form. So if you understand this material, then you will do well on the next test. And we're going to talk a lot later on about whether a statement is true, whether it's false. And we're really going to break down these conditional statements. We're going to be looking at conditional statements for a while. So an example of a conditional statement is if an animal is a dog, then it has 4 legs. Now, I do not believe that this is true. In fact, I know that this is not true because I grew up on a farm, and on our farm, we had some dogs, and one of those dogs got his leg caught in, I think it was a fox trap or something like that, and so he lost his leg, and we had a dog that had 3 legs. So when I say if an animal is a dog, then it has 4 legs, I disagree with that. I do not believe that this is a true statement, but it is still a conditional statement. It just happens to be a false conditional statement. Today, it is all about just writing the statements. If this, then that. In fact, when I say it's a logical statement that can be written in if-then form, sometimes it isn't written in that form. For example, all houses have windows is not in the form if something then something else. It can be written as a conditional statement. If it is a house, then it has windows. If a building is a house, then it does have windows. And you can change the phrasing a little bit to make it a little bit more personalized for yourself and your own writing preferences. But a conditional statement can be written in if-then form. If this, then that. Now, is this true? All houses have windows? Well, I don't know. Maybe there's a house somewhere that doesn't have windows. Maybe there's a house that is underground and doesn't have windows. Maybe there's a house somewhere where it's um, in maybe down in the southeast where they've got hurricanes coming in and they don't want to have windows because they keep getting broken, and so they put up plywood or something like that, and so they don't have windows anymore. I am not saying that this is a true statement. I am saying that this is something called a conditional statement because it can be written as if something, then something else. And so your assignment over this weekend is going to be doing exactly that, taking statements that are not in if-then form and writing them in if-then form. So here's a couple examples for us to look at. First one says, everyone in this meeting is under 50 years old. Now, maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't agree with this. Maybe your grandma is sitting behind you right now and you would say that she is in this meeting and she's not under 50 years old. Maybe you don't think I am under 50 years old. It doesn't matter. For today, all I want to do is write this statement. Everyone in this meeting is under 50 years old as a conditional. If this, then that. So take a minute. Everyone in this meeting is under 50 years old. Write it as an if-then statement. I'll pause for a moment. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. then I'm going to write this conditional statement as if, let me see, if everyone in this meeting is under 50 years old. So I'm going to say, if you are in this meeting, then you are under 50 years old. And I chose to use that phrasing. If you said something like, if someone is in this meeting, then they are under 50 years old. If you said, if a person is in this meeting, then they are under 50 years old. There's a lot of different ways of phrasing that. The important part is that something about being in this meeting is the if, then something about being under 50 years old comes after the then. If you change the order on that, you change the meaning. If you say, if you're under 50, then you're at this meeting, that's a different meaning. That's a different sentence that has a different meaning. Let's take a look at the next one. We won't have school when the temperature is less than negative 40 degrees Celsius. Personally, I believe that this may not be true this year because we can do this distance learning thing. But I'm not worried about whether this is true or not. I'm only worried about expressing this as a conditional statement. So once again, go ahead and pause the video if you would like to. Write this down as a conditional statement and come back in a moment. And when you unpause it, I will write down what I think a good sentence would be. Okay, hopefully you are done. If you're not done, seriously, pause, come back. But if you're following directions, you should be ready to go. You've got a sentence written down. I'm gonna have to take a look at this one. So let's see. We don't have school when the temperature is less than negative 40. So I'm gonna say if the temperature is less than negative 40 degrees, Celsius, then we won't have school. And I want you to think about this one because I'm guessing that some people may have switched the order. I want you to think about what this sentence means. We won't have school when the temperature is less than negative 40. And I want you to think about if you switch the order, if you said, if we don't have school, then the temperature is less than negative 40, then your sentence means something else. If we don't have school, then the temperature is less than negative 40. Guess what? We don't have school on Friday, but the temperature will not be less than negative 40. That's completely different. What I'm saying with this statement is we won't have school when the temperature is that cold. So if the temperature is less than negative 40, then we won't have school. Again, whether that's true or not, we can argue about that and we can try to decide if that's true, and we'll find out this year, maybe, if it's that true. That's really cold. By the way, negative 40 degrees Celsius is the same temperature as negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It is the only temperature that is the same on both the Fahrenheit and Celsius scales. There's some trivia for you. And then I'm going to finish with one more example, and this one is one that comes from the assignment. This is actually one of the problems in your assignment for the weekend. We'll talk about that in a moment. But number 12 on the assignment says, it is always cloudy when it rains. Now, I want you to think about that. I've got two different possibilities for the answer. I've given this question in the past, and I've seen both of these as the answer. So think about this. Close your eyes and listen as I say the sentence. It is always cloudy when it rains. And I want you to think about whether you agree with that or if you disagree with that. It is always cloudy when it rains. Now, maybe you think that's true. Maybe you're thinking about it and you're thinking, yeah, it's always cloudy when it rains. Or maybe some of you are thinking about a day when you were outside and the strangest thing happened. It was this beautiful sunny day and all of a sudden rain started coming down. And if you've ever been a part of that, if you've ever witnessed that, it's a strange thing, but it does happen sometimes. I think this is a false statement because when I say it is always cloudy when it rains, I can remember a time when I was outside playing baseball or something like that. It was a beautiful sunny day, and all of a sudden, rain started coming down. Now, there may have been clouds off to the side. I'm not saying there was not a cloud in the sky, but it was not a cloudy day, and still it was raining, okay? Now, when I look at these two sentences, the sentences in black, Think about how they're different. First one says, if it is raining, then it is cloudy. The second one says, if it is cloudy, then it is raining. And as I say those sentences, I want you to think about which one means the same thing as this red sentence. First one, if it is raining, then it is cloudy. And when I write that down, when I say that out loud, I am thinking about that same baseball game. I'm thinking about that same day. I'm thinking, no, that's not true. Because I remember a time when it was raining and it wasn't cloudy. It was a beautiful sunny day. I'm thinking about the same things when I read that second statement. I'm thinking about the same thing when I read this one as when I read the red sentence. Now listen to this one. If it is cloudy, then it is raining. And now I'm not thinking about that sunny day when it was raining. I'm thinking about that cloudy day when it wasn't raining. If it is cloudy, then it is raining. And I'm thinking, no, that's not true. There was a day earlier. It was a day last week when I remember I was walking around outside. It was cloudy, but it was not raining. And I'm thinking about a different thing. This sentence means something different than the red sentence. And so I want you to think about that as you're doing your homework this weekend. When you write down your conditional statement, it should have the same meaning as the normal sentence that you're writing it from. Okay? Of course, this is a video, so you can go back and rewatch parts of it if you need to. If that made perfect sense, well then great. I'm doing a great job as a asynchronous teacher. But for Monday, I've got a sheet up on Schoology already. The numbering is a little bit weird. Basically, just do the worksheet that I've got posted. It's number 1 and 11 through 16. I'm just letting you know that the numbering is weird because when I was planning this chapter out, I had this great big packet. And I decided instead of having a great big packet, we would break it up into 4 chunks. And when I split things up, I changed the order and it ended up being a little bit out of order. And so when you look at the answer key, you'll have to go around and bounce around to find the answers. But the assignment this weekend, it's just a single page, one side this time. Do problems number 1 and 11 through 16. And yeah, we'll take a look at this. We'll look at some more patterns and we'll talk more about conditional statements on Monday. Have a great weekend, you guys. I will see you either on Monday or Tuesday next week, depending on what class you are in. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.